The first thing she noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind that settles in a quiet home at night, but the heavy silence that comes when people look at you and quickly look away. At 56 years old, Margaret had grown used to that silence. It followed her into cafes, into job interviews, into conversations that ended the moment someone realized how old she was. To most people, she had become invisible, too old to hire, too old to love, too old to start again. But on a rainy Tuesday evening, when she stepped into a small, struggling restaurant to escape the cold, a broke restaurant owner looked at her and said something no one had told her in years, that she was exactly who he needed. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that life can still surprise us when we least expect it, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who might need a little hope today, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Stories. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that remind the world how powerful compassion can be. Margaret's life had not always been this quiet. In her younger years she had been the kind of woman who filled rooms with warmth. She had worked as a receptionist at a small medical clinic for almost 30 years. Patients loved her gentle voice and the way she remembered their names. The doctors trusted her because she handled chaos with calm patience. But the clinic eventually modernized, bringing in new management and automated systems that required a more tech-savvy team. Margaret understood what that meant even before the official letter arrived. After the layoff, everything changed faster than she had expected. Her husband, who had already been distant for years, left shortly afterward, claiming he needed a fresh start. Their 2 adult children lived in other cities, busy building lives of their own. Margaret didn't blame them. She simply didn't tell them how lonely things had become. At first, she tried to stay hopeful. Every morning she dressed neatly, printed copies of her resume, and visited businesses around town. She applied to grocery stores, offices, bookstores, cafes, anywhere that might give her a chance. Most managers smiled politely but avoided making eye contact once they noticed the date of her last job experience. Some suggested she apply online. Others said they would call her if something opened up. The calls never came. Weeks turned into months. Her savings slowly shrank. The small apartment she rented felt colder every evening. Sometimes she would sit by the window watching couples walk past, wondering when exactly she had become someone the world no longer needed. That rainy Tuesday had been particularly difficult. Margaret had spent the entire day walking through the city with an umbrella that barely protected her from the wind. 3 job applications and 1 awkward interview later, her shoes were soaked and her hope felt thinner than ever. The rain intensified as evening approached, forcing her to duck into the nearest place with lights still on. The restaurant looked modest and slightly worn, its wooden sign creaking gently above the door. Inside, only a few tables were occupied. The smell of tomato sauce and baked bread filled the air. It was warm, comfortably warm, and Margaret realized how chilled she had been. She sat quietly near the window and ordered the cheapest item on the menu, a simple bowl of soup. As she waited, she noticed something about the place. The chairs didn't match perfectly. One corner of the wall had peeling paint. A flickering light buzzed above the kitchen entrance. It was clear the restaurant was struggling. Behind the counter stood a man in his early 40s. His hair was slightly messy, his apron stained with flour and sauce, and his expression carried the tired determination of someone fighting an uphill battle. This was Daniel, the owner of the restaurant. Daniel had opened the place